Welcome to Tanya Outside In. We are chapter Kaf Vav 26, uh, part 3. Um, so like we said, chapter 26 is beginning a whole new section of, it's like Tanya divides cleanly into two halves, from Aleph to Kaf Hey, and from Kaf Vav to the end. Yeah. So Kaf Vav has begun Eitzes into how to serve Hashem. Yeah, until now we learned what it is to serve Hashem, what you are, what it means, Torah and mitzvahs, what happens when you do Torah and mitzvahs, the short road to serving Hashem, the long road to serving Hashem, etc. Yeah. Now we're talking about details of eitzes of how to serve Hashem. So the Ikka Ikuv, anyone remembers what the Ikka Ikuv to avoid Hashem is?
Simcha?
Yeah, or not having simcha. Exactly.
Oh, oh.
Simcha is the Ikka ingredient to avoid Hashem.
So depression and anxiety.
Exactly. The opposite of simcha is depression and anxiety. Depression and anxiety, which is called atzvas and daigas, they are two sides of the same coin. They are the same machla. They are the machla of self-thought. Whether you're thinking forward, that's called daigas, or you're thinking backwards, that's called depression. Yeah, that is they are the same thing, and they are the opposite of simcha. Um, what is simcha? Simcha is free flowing emotional expression. A person who is besimcha, he will or she will mourn more deeply. If a person is in a depression and a relative dies, it won't affect them as badly as if a person is besimcha and a relative dies, a close relative dies. Being besimcha means that you're emotionally available. And that is an absolute prerequisite for avodas Hashem, emotional availability. So the Rebbe spoke about it breaks down really beautifully. It's spread over Kaf Vav and Kaf Zayin. That Kaf Vav deals with two kinds of problems, two kinds of impediments to Simcha, and Kaf Zayin deals with one. So it goes like this: it's happening to you, you did it, you are it. Those are the three things. That's funny, a little thumbs up. Okay, let's get rid of that. Yeah. Um, you um it's happening to you means stuff's going wrong. And not like stupid things, but things like Chaya Mazonai, what is it? Chaya Bana Mazonai, your health, um, your family, and your livelihood. Those are serious issues. Yeah. And they're not going the way you want it to go. So the Rebbe says, Gam to the Toiva. Remember that this too is for the good. And went even further and he said, remember that if you really care about Kibbutz Hashem, then things not going your way are better than things going your way. Not that you want them, not that you want to bring them on you, but if you're really interested in avodas Hashem, yeah, then the avodas Hashem is more powerful during the hard times than it is during the good times. That's what he says. So not that you want to bring it on you, but not only is it Gamzu the Toiva, but it's Gamzu the Yosa Toiv. It's better. It's coming from what he calls the Alama Discassia, the concealed world, as opposed to the revealed world, which means it's on Hashem's terms. And that's what he said. Just for for the so it happened with me just recently with the camping trip is Shangarville, is that we were going on a camping trip, and then I got this terrible gout attack, and we had to cut the camping trip short, and I had to deal with all this horrible pain while we were there, etc. And if you put reality into perspective, yeah, there's a lot more growth to be done through having to deal with canceling a camping trip than actually for the camping trip going exactly how you wanted it to go to plan. Not again, not that you want it to go, not that you want it to not go to plan, but once Hashem has decided that it's not going to go to plan, realize that now you have a more intense opportunity to serve the Ribono Shel Olam. So that's basically what we learned last week. Now the Rebbe turns gears. So that was it's happening to you. That's the Rebbe's advice for it's happening to you. Things are going wrong in your life and you don't like it, like no one likes it. He says, don't fall into a depression. Remember that in truth comes to the Tova, and in Emes La'amitoi, this is actually more beneficial to you than it would be if things were going according to plan. Okay, so we join you at the beginning of, so excuse me, at the end of page Lower Gimel, four lines up from the bottom. Ha'atzvos mimili deshmaya. So that's it's happening to you. But what about the atzvos that you have from mili deshmaya? Yeah, meaning like your avodas Hashem. Sricha says, "Eitzes lenafshay lepatim imenu." You have to get over this. Well, this is really in Yana Diyoma because it's the we're going to learn about the Yesod of Tshuva and Rosh Chodesh Elul, which is very special. So you also have to get rid of that, yeah. Ein zach lema b'shas avodah, shetzorich la'avoid Hashem b'simcha b'tuv levav. And we're not just talking about when you're being over Hashem. That's a vaday. But he's going to say lema b'shas avodah ela afilu mi shehu balasakim. He's talking about a businessman. B'derech eretz im noifa lo eitze v'daiga memili deshmaya b'shas osakov. If while he's going about his business, yeah, worry and depression fall upon him because of stuff that he's done wrong. This next line. What is this? These next 7-8 words are some of the most important words in all of Tanya. B'yadua shehu tachboilus a kedei lahapiloi achar kach b'taivas chas v'sham kanoida. Why is this guy having to deal with depression and anxiety? Because that is the Yetzer Hara's primary tool to get you to fall into tivers. If you feel down, I know by me and I know by everybody else it's the same. When you feel down, yeah, you are available to do the worst stuff that you do. So when you're at work and all of a sudden you're feeling down or anxious because of your averas, he says that's just tachboilis a yetzer lapilo achakach b'taivas. He just wants to get you to do more bad stuff. Chas v'shalom. If that wasn't the case, ma'aim ba'aloi atzvos emitis machmas avos Hashem or yuachsei be'emso sakov. Because if it wasn't for that, where was it that this depression came from? Yeah, this sadness came from. It couldn't have been that he was meditating on his Avos Hashem or Yiras Hashem in the middle of his business. Yeah. Now, whether this atzos falls on him at the time when he's involved in his avodas Hashem, learning Torah or davening, or if it falls on him at another time, like when he's involved in his business, Zois Yosim El Liboy. This is what you should say to his heart. Ki ein hazman grama ke'eis la'atzvus emitis afilu l'daigus avoinus chamurim chaz v'shalom. Yeah, this is not the time. This is not the time. Yeah, it doesn't matter how bad you are, how many bad things you've done, how far you've fallen. Yeah, he says that you should this isn't the time. So when is the time to feel a little bit bitter about the fact that you've done so much bad stuff? When is the time?
Rosh Chodesh, Erev Shabbos, Elul.
So it basically it's he's going to say in a minute. These next words are the foundation of tshuva mamash. This is we'll finish off the perk and we'll just talk about this because it's so choshev, so choshev. So the actual time that you do it, like Gabriel said, you can choose a time. You want to do it Erev Rosh Chodesh, you want to do it. I like to do it Erev Rosh Hashanah of Erev Shvius. That was a joke. No one got that. Okay. Anyway, if the Yovel was still
Once every 7 years, we got it.
if there was the Yovel, I would do even less. But no, but the point
But
is
that's only provided you had an Avera between that the last one.
exactly. So what Gabriel said is good. That's true. But we're gonna so there needs to be a specific time. Yeah, you do choose a time. It's not like when bitter feelings or depressed feelings just come upon you. Yeah, that's what he said. That's tachbolas yetzer. That's the devices of the yetzer trying to get you to to fall deeper into bad stuff. Yeah, so you have to choose specific times, but now he gives you literally the Yesod of Tshuva Mamash. Rak lezois tzarich kavias itim v'shas koishe b'yishiv das, that you need to be koveya times when you've got your head on your shoulders and you've got some yishiv das, which means get rid of your phone. Lizboinem begedulas Hashem asher chot eloi, that you'll be mizboinen on the Gedulas Hashem, on the greatness of Hashem, against whom you sinned. And then you will come to a genuine Leiv Nishba, not to Atzvus, but to a broken heart, not to depression. Depression is a blocked heart. When a person thinks about the fact that he belongs to Ribbono Shel Olam and spends a little bit of energy thinking about what the Ribbono Shel Olam must be. I called up a friend of mine he's actually become quite a big mashpia in the film world, and I hear him talk. I heard him. I listen to him sometimes. He's a very very choshev guy, and he was talking about. He said I've heard him say it a lot of times. He says we're inside Hashem. We're in Hashem, not like there's us and then there's Hashem. We're in Hashem. And although that's a massive improvement on the fact that, on saying that there's us and then there's Hashem, yeah, being inside Hashem, it still falls pitifully short of describing the reality. See, when you say you're in Hashem, the mashmos is there's Hashem and you're inside him. Yeah, but the truth is, as I understand it, is that you're actually a chelik of him. You're a chelik of his goof, so to speak. You're a chelik of his neshama. Being a yid, you're a chelik of his neshama. That's much more than just being inside him. You're one of the building blocks of him, if you could say such a thing. Kaviyachol. But think about that. Think about the fact that you look at an organism, yeah? An organism is divided into 50 trillion cells. A human being is divided into 50 trillion cells, yeah? Every cell is its own little, it's like a little creature. It has organelles. Like we have organs. A cell has organelles, like mitochondria and 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 it has a nucleus and it has the what's it called it has all bunch of stuff. I used to remember all the stuff. Yeah, it's a little it's like a little factory. It's a little power plant. It's amazing, amazing, amazing. Yeah, and they all act together. They're all different, or a lot of them are different, and they act in perfect unison, and they make you. They make your body. Yeah. So then just extrapolate a little bit further and realize that's exactly how it works for an ant nest. An ant nest is understood by biologists as a single organism. No one ant can go it alone. Yeah, you have the foragers, you have the warriors, you have the nurses, you have the builders. They're all necessary. The queen, the king, whatever it is, yeah. No one ant can live it alone, just like no one cell can live it alone. So now, okay, I am a, what's the word? I am a community of cells. My goof is a community of cells. Fine. Compressed little independent factories and little independent creatures all compressed together, and you make up my goof. So now relax the pressure a little bit and you end up with what's called an ant's nest. And there's lots of animals like this, which means an ant nest is like, just like you are a community of cells, an ant nest is a community of ants. An ant colony is one organism, just a little less tightly packed. So you're made of trillions of cells, and an ant colony is made of, let's say, hundreds of thousands or millions of ants. Now relax a little bit more, and then you've got the world and Hashem. You and I are a cell in his goof, Kivyochel. That's amazing. And when you realize that, and if you are not aligned with the organism's agenda, as we've said many, many times, what is a cell called that is not aligned with whose agenda is out of alignment with the agenda of the organism? That's
Answer.
yeah, that's it, the machla. That's what tshuva is. Tshuva is realizing that I mean, I'm going to say it really strongly. I don't usually speak this strongly, but hold on to your seats. Tshuva is the recognition that you've become a cancerous cell in God's body. Kiviyachol. That's really hard. Sorry about that. But that's really what tshuva is. Tshuva is saying to the Ribono Shel Olam, I'm sorry for causing you so much agmas nefesh. You deserve so much from me. Look at what I am, yeah? All of us sitting here, yeah? If you're a regular, if you're a regular American or whatever, with basic level functioning and a regular setup of resources, whatever, especially with AI and internet and stuff like this. Do you realize how powerful how big a part you can play in bringing Geula and the rectification of the world? Massive. Like, think about it, how it was, 200 years ago. All you could do is like affect your cow and your wife. That was it. What more your kids? Well, now the whole world is just, you're available. You've got access to the entire world. So that's what tshuva is. Tshuva is, the way the Rebbe says it, is tzarich itim v'shas hakodesh b'yishuv v'das lizboinem b'gedulas Hashem asher chot Eloi. To think about Hashem, who you were chote against. Tshuva is not a personal, it's not a cathartic experience. It's not a personal elevation experience. It's realizing that you are out of alignment with reality, and reality is suffering as a result. Not that you have got a bunch of heavy, dark baggage that you want to let go of. Like, you want to go to mass on Sunday, I don't know what they do, and they sit in that box and they say, "Oh Father, I have sinned." Yeah, and it's like, that's nice. Let go. Yeah. Oh, it's like when you're carrying a dark secret and you tell someone. Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's not what tshuva is. Tshuva is not a self-help, it's not a self-improvement plan. Tshuva is the recognition that you fell out of line with reality, and as a result, reality is lacking. That's what it says, that you should be mizboinen b'gedulas Hashem asher chot eloi, that it was against him that you missed the mark. And therefore you will come to a broken heart. A broken heart is different to depression. Depression is something like, oy vey, I'm so bad. A broken heart, I mean, we've always said this, a broken heart is when the definition of who you are, when your identity cracks. But when you realize that you are not pulling your weight, that feeling of, and again, it's not about the fact that you're not pulling your weight, it's the fact that because you're not pulling your weight, others are suffering, or Be'ika Hashem is suffering, so to speak. That's a completely different experience from a personal kind of depression. That's called a Leiv Nishba, and hopefully it will lead to what the Rebbe calls Merirus Emitis, real bitterness. Real bitterness, bitterness of heart can be described as like the feeling that this just can't fly anymore. It can't go on like this anymore. It's enough. I can't live with myself anymore. I can't. This just has to stop. Yeah, that is a very empowered feeling. So that's bitterness of heart, and that can only come when there's a shviras alev. Depression is called timtum alev, where the alev is blocked up and there is no life in the heart. Yeah. Shviras alev is the breaking of that definition, of that identity, where you're now available to grow potentially. Merirus alev is the, so to speak, like the hachlata, the decision, the energy that you are going to change. Not that you have changed, but the energy that you are going to change. And then you get to psich alev. What's another word for psich alev? Mike, you said at the beginning of this year. Simcha.
Simcha.
Simcha is the word. So that's how we get back to Simcha. So the Rebbe is saying, don't get despondent and down on your averas. Yeah. You're just sitting there at work and all of a sudden you just feel like such a schlepper because you keep looking at that terrible stuff on the computer. Yeah. He says, no, don't. That's just going to cause you to look at more terrible stuff on the computer. Yeah, what you need to do is you need to take a time out and have a think and realize that by you looking at this terrible stuff on the computer, yeah, you are losing, and this is the way I understand it, this is the ikka problem of looking at filth on the computer, is not the problem of Pagama Bris, according to the way I see it, is that you lose all respect for yourself. Just like if you were to walk in, it's different to eating a hamburger, yeah? Like a trafe burger. Yeah, like if you were to take off your couple, yeah, I mean, I would have to shave off my beard and pears. You take off your couple, whatever, yeah, you look like a regular Ben Adam, and you walk into a McDonald's and you get a cheeseburger, yeah, you'll feel a bit weird, but no one's gonna care less about you. Just another guy having a cheeseburger. Yeah, but I saw a picture once of on an aeroplane of a guy, middle-aged man, sitting there with his laptop. He was by the window, and he was sitting there with his laptop turned so that you couldn't see his screen. But he wasn't aware that in the window was a reflection of what he was looking at, and someone had taken a picture. So you saw the filth on the reflected in the window, and he's like there, so no one can see. Yeah. Anybody who sees that man loses respect for him immediately. Immediately. And so too does he for himself. You cannot be involved in looking at that stuff and retain any genuine self-respect. So what? So what's the problem with not having any self-respect? If you don't have self-respect, everything else unravels. Without self-respect is like the foundation of everything. If you don't respect yourself, then you can do whatever you want. You will, it's a disaster. So these things that we do, you have to realize that if that's the issue, and most men are involved in this, that if this is your issue or whatever your issue is, when you sit down and you realize that that's pulling you out of alignment with reality, and as a result, all of reality is really missing, that's real tshuva. That's real tshuva. I'm not pulling my weight. I need to pull it together. Hashem, you deserve more from me. You deserve more from me. And he's going to explain what time this is in a different place. V'sham Nizba'a Gamkein is also going to explain there Ki miyad acher shenishba libo be'itim kvuim haheim azai yoso ha'atzem libo legamrei, that once you've done this avodah and you've broken your heart and you've realized that because of you all of reality is really lacking. Yeah, this is a starker perk. But once you've realized that and your heart is broken, now get rid of all of this depression, get back to simcha, and you have to be ma'amin b'emunah shleimish ki Hashem hevech, that Hashem has forgiven you, v'rav l'slach, and he's mamash he forgives very easily. And this is the true simcha that comes after the atzvus. Yeah, the fact that you've disidentified from the problem. You have built up a new resolve that you are going to. You've disidentified because you've realized what a problem this is, this bad behavior. You've re-identified, or you've mustered up the resolve to re-identify something constructive and to be good. Yeah. And now you can take solace in the fact that Rebbeinu Shalom has also gotten over it. And he's now, like we say every morning, what do we say every morning? Moide ani lefanecha Melech Chai v'Kayom shechazart b'nishmasi v'chemla Rabba Emunah Secho. Your Emunah, Hashem, is great. What do you mean? Hashem's got Emunah? Yeah, Hashem's ma'amin in me. That's the first thing you say when you wake up in the morning. That Hashem went out of his way to return my soul so that I can now actually come through for reality and do what I was created to do. And he believes in us. He renews his faith in us every single day. That's the first thing we say when we get up in the morning. Rabba emunah secha. Hashem, your emunah in us is great. And that is the nechama that Hashem has forgiven us. And we are now ready to realign and to become a healthy cell in Hashem's body. B'ezrat Hashem. Okay, that's Kav Vav. Next week, B'ezrat Hashem, we'll go to Kav Zayin. I think Kav Zayin just recently became my favorite parak in Tanya, so I'm looking forward to that. Okay, which will be Zocha to Emes to Tshuva. Remember, Tshuva is, we'll just say very quickly as a sikum, yeah, Chaz v'shalom, a man hits his wife, yeah? Tshuva is not, oi, look how bad I am, look what level I've fallen to, I could be so much better than this. Tshuva is, oi, my wife deserves so much more. I can't believe what she's having to deal with. this is just not acceptable. Oh, and you know what? I can actually help. I can help fix this. With Yaakov Weinberg Zatzal said the difference between Goyish guilt and Yiddish tshuva. Goyish guilt is oi, I'm so bad. Yiddish tshuva is oi, the Misa was off. I'm not bad. And you know what? The Yiddish part of you never does. A Yid cannot do an Avera by definition. When we do Averas, yeah, the Nishmas Yisrael goes into Galus. He gets dragged around, but he doesn't. A Yid can't do an Avera. So it's just that's the issue with Averas, is it's just it's a mistaken identity. You've gotten confused with something that you're not. You, yeah, which is the Nefesh Elokis, it can't do an Avera. It doesn't have free will. It's just a godly being. So the only reason why we actually could do something Neged Hashem is because we had a momentary lapse of reason, to quote Pink Floyd, and we got our identity mixed up. It was an identity crisis. Okay, everyone should be benched. Should be a good chodesh, and yeah, let's buckle down. Let's try and perform a little better for the Ribbono Shel Olam. Everyone knows what it is they can improve on, and something important, something maybe with your wife, with your kids, whatever it is, something good, and say to David. Okay, kol tov everyone. Chodesh.